Hello friends, today we're on Belle Isle, a beautiful state park in the Detroit River within the city of Detroit. And this is a very historic place with lots of different histories and stories and events that have happened here, but today we're going to look at one specific part of the island. Just come up here on the right is a Coast Guard base, but it's a beautiful natural setting. Look at this with lagoons and trails and all kinds of facilities for people to enjoy. But there's also an active Coast Guard base here. But what we're here to talk about, from 1955 to 1968, there was a missile base here, part of the defensive ring around every major U.S. metropolitan area. Metro Detroit had over a dozen of these locations, which housed Nike Ajax and Hercules missiles to protect against a surprise attack from the Soviet Union. This map shows the installations and locations around the Metro Detroit area. They opened beginning around 1955, and the last one in Utica closed in 1974, although most were gone by 1968. The magazine and missile storage facilities for Site D26 were located right here on Belle Isle, while the flight control facilities and targeting services were located across the Detroit River on the mainland of Detroit. Here's the view where we are in the car right now, where the little camera signal is, and if you look out toward the end of the point to the lighthouse, that area encompasses all of where it was at. And across the river, these two parks you can see here, Gentry and Brush, were where the control facilities were. Nothing remains here on the site except, of course, the lovely lighthouse out there at the end of the point. The ground has all been flattened, reclaimed, and is being reutilized and reimagined into leisurely recreational activities and learning opportunities. But at one time, there were a dozen or more of these bases located around Metro Detroit. Here's a look at what some of the facilities were typical in that day. Here are images of the two types of missiles that were used here, Hercules and Ajax. And next we have an image of a missile sitting on one of the elevator units where it would be raised and lowered into a secure storage facility. The man is standing next to the control box, which operated the elevator. And then we have a view of the elevator while it's fully lowered with the bay doors open, so you can see down in there. Fascinating place to look down into. This is another image. You can see the elevator doors lined up in a row here. The round features with the domed top are actually access stairwells to go down into the bunker. And I know that because I've actually been down in one of these in the past. I'm going to do a separate video about that in the future. Just leave that as a teaser for now. But Belle Isle is a nice place. The state has taken it over as a state park, and it's really cool to see that it's been renovated and cleaned up and a welcoming place for all. There's the lighthouse at the end of the point that we showed you earlier. You see some not much. This is like a wilderness area of the park right here. There's really not much developed in this area. There's a former zoo on the other side of the street that's been closed for years, as well as an abandoned golf course. But there's still the boat and yacht club, jet ski and boat rentals here, a giant famous slide of death that people love to go down really fast, nature trails, jogging trails. I think there's a disc golf course, and of course, beautiful fountains, many picnic and grilling areas, fishing, and a beautiful beach. There's also a beautiful view of the city of Detroit downtown skyline, including the new Hudson Tower building, which is the second tallest building in Detroit now. And just a little fact for you, every single high-rise building that was abandoned in the 1980s in Detroit has been renovated and reopened.